Toparena! Hey, Chris in the house with another Raid Shadow Legends video. And today, guys, I am going to talk with you about one of the most important resources in all Raid Shadow Legends, and I am sure you use it wrong. What am I talking about? I'm talking about this. Yes, we're talking about the ORES. One of the most powerful resources that we have in Raid Shadow Legends. Why? Because the quality of our gear, it's part of how good our champion is. And the ORES are a very good way of transforming something into a way better another thing. To bring an item that can be totally bad or totally wrong into a very good stats item. And it's about that we're going to talk now. I'm going to share with you how and why to use the ORES in the right way. First, what are the ORES? When you get an item, you have the possibility of going to this page here, Rework. This Rework tab is going to give you the chance of using these materials here, the Chaos Ores, into your items. We have 6 types of Chaos Ore at the moment. The 5-star Epic, Legendary, and Mythical, and the 6-star Epic, Legendary, and Mythical. What are so important about that? Because through using ore, you can rework an item of yours into a new substatistic item. What that means? It means that, for example, here, I got a pretty useless item, pretty useless speed item. I got accuracy, I got HP percentage, and I got resistance. For my account, this is a totally useless item. It will never be used in any champion. I would probably sell it. But since I have the opportunity of using an ore, this item has the chance of giving me one of the substats that I want. And if, for example, on this set, if it hits triple speed, it is a very strong piece for my account and probably for your account too. What a shitty PC, a piece that brings nothing to our accounts, can be an extremely good one. So most of the players brings an ore, they hold them, or they use them in a bad way. First, if I log into your account and I click on this tab and you have a huge amount of the 6-star ores, you probably are losing the potential that your account could have. So it's good to hold some ores. Yes, it is good to use in the right opportunity. But when you have the right opportunity, to hold them is to lose the opportunity of getting a good item. To have 1,000 of each ores, in general, is that it isn't a good choice. It is a dumb choice. Because you could have a lot more bad items than you have if you were trying to rework the right items. So first, let's talk about which ores are important and where to use them and when to use them. The 5-star Epic are pretty much not that important. The Epics, you get most of them in the Cintranos most of the time, or in some chests that you get in events. Clearing Cintranos, Cursed City, you're going to get a lot of these small ores along the way. You're going to get all kind of ores along the way, but the ones that you're gonna get most are the small ones. So you can get them on hard and on normal too. There are many phases that grant you ores. For example, here, this is a 5-star legendary ore. We had other rooms that I already cleared, but we have many opportunities. Here, another legendary. Here, another epic. We have many ores during this. Here we have a, probably this is a 6-star, I don't remember, but I think it is a 6-star. We have many opportunities of getting ores on this Intranos from all kinds, from the 5-star epic ones to the 6-star mythical ones. We're going to get. We are also able to get ores from the clan shop, but not all the time. They are available here in the clan pool on the slot 9. Here we can get the 6-star legendary ores, and it's probably the best source of 6-star legendary ores is the clan shop. That's where we take most of them from. Okay, so the 5-star epic ore is the piece of ore with lowest value, because the amount of times this is going to be relevant for you is very low. But from the 5-star legendary and beyond the 5-star legendary, 5-star mythical, 6-star epic, 6-star legendary, and 6-star mythical, the value skyrockets. The value skyrockets. Because why? If you reach mid-game, most of the 5-star epic pieces loses the value to you. Most of them. Most. But end game and beyond, you still can take value of the 5-star legendary, the 5-star mythical, the 6-star epic, the 6-star legendary, and the 6-star mythical, undoubtedly. What are the situations? Let's go. Between all the possible sets that we have in the game right now, all the sets that we have here, all of them, is not smart most of the time to use ore in all of them. There are only a few that you should use your ores. Let me start with the occasions that you're going to use the 5-star ores. The 5-star ores, most of the time, you're going to use here on the accessories. Most of the time. Why? Because on the sets, special sets that we have access, there are some that we can extract a good result using 5-star ores. I'm talking about the merciless pieces and the stone skin pieces. Out of all the rings and amulets and banners 5-star, you are only going to use ores on the stone skin pieces and on the merciless pieces. Okay? Most of the time, because they are very rare items to get. You do not get that much of them, and sometimes changing the stats or the substats of one of these items can make you complete what you're seeking for into finishing a build. It can be 6 pieces, it can be 9 pieces. Sometimes this small ore that you use on a 5-star piece, as you can see, most of the pieces that we collect from these sets are 5-star. Because we don't get that much volume of 6 stars. We got them, but the high volume is usually 6 stars. It's 5 stars, sorry. So that's where we use most of the 5-star ores. And that's the place to use the 5-star ores. On the accessories, there is any other cases that we use ores of any kind? Yes, there is. You never, outside of the merciless and the stone skin, you're never going to use ores on rings and amulets. It doesn't matter if it's a pentaroll. It doesn't matter. Here, for example, I have an HP ring with quadro attack. Am I going to use an ore on this item? No. I'm not going to waste an ore on these items because they are way more relevant items that we can use. Where are you going to use your ores on the accessories? You're going to use them on the stone skin accessories, on the merciless accessories, and on the banners. The banners are the point where it's worth using ores, because the banners is the only accessories that can give you the substats of speed. So if you have a banner that has a quad row or a triple row or a penta row that is not speed, it is worth it maybe to use an ore on it. If it is a quad or a penta row, it doesn't matter. It is worth using an ore on it because you get the chance of getting a quad row. Do you think I got a roll of these and it was speed? No, it was HP with flat attack, I think. Then I used the ore and became a quad speed banner. This is what for we use an ore. Banners are the only good pieces on the accessories that you can use 6-star ores without having the fear of using it wrong. If you have quad rows or penta rows in any banner, you can use ore it to try to get a better piece. And that's how most of the time we're able to get high rolls on speed on our banners. It's through that. For example, I had a penta row here that was defense percentage on this banner, and I was like, okay, I'm going to use an ore on it, and that's how I got the only penta row speed that I got on my account. That's how I got it, through the ore. Mythical ore on a mythical banner that had a penta row, that's how I got it. That's the best way of using your ores on accessories. Keep the 6 stars only for the banners most of the time, and keep the 5 stars for the merciless and stone skin accessories. You can use the ores on any kind of banner. It doesn't matter if it's a standard one or if it is a special one for any of these sets. Pharaoh's Lair, Reaction, Blood Shield, Merciless, Pinpoint, Supersonic, Rebirth, Stone Skin, Protection, Cleanse, Refresh, Revenge. It doesn't matter. You can use ores if it is a banner that has a quad row or penta row, depending on your account, on a triple row, in any of these sets. If you were able to get speed, try to get it, because that's game-changing more than any other stats that you can have from the accessories. That's how you're going to use ores on your accessories. And on the artifacts, how I'm going to use and which sets are you going to use? Okay, most of these sets, most of them, is not that much relevant for you to try to use an ore. The damage dealer sets are good, but very hard for you to use an ore on a damage dealing set. Let's say I have a very high hole in a piece here, and I want to try to get something else. For a good damage dealing piece, not one stats is necessary. Many stats are necessary to make a damage dealing piece. To make a good damage dealing piece, you need speed, critical rate, critical damage, and a source of damage. Can be attack percentage, HP percentage, or defense percentage. This is a good damage dealing piece. So if you need multiple substats for a damage dealing piece to be a relevant piece, when you use an ore on a damage dealing piece, a damage dealing set, you're gambling multiple times to get a good result. Don't you agree with me? If I need multiple stats to be a good piece, I'm gambling a lot if I am using a ore on a damage dealing piece. Even more if we're talking about bottom pieces, gloves, chest, and boots. Because when you have chest, gloves, and boots, the main stats is the most important thing. You want a combination between main stats and substats. All of them are important. And if you use an OR on a damage dealing piece, you need the luck to give you a good main stats and the right substats. And that's really, 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 really hard to happen. It can happen, yes, it can happen. It will happen often, probably not. Most of the ORs that you use on the bottom pieces, chest, gloves, and boots, you're not going to do so well if you're trying to get the damage dealing stats. Because the amount of combinations that you have to achieve for it to be relevant is very high. So you need the main stats to be the right main stats, and you need the substats to be the right substats. And it's not easy to get that through an OR. So that said, I advise you, do not use your ORs on the mage dealing sets unless it's an incredible piece. For example, you got a penta roll on a glove, a mythical glove, and you want to try to get it a critical damage glove with penta speed or penta critical rate or penta attack percentage. Maybe this case it is worth, otherwise it's not. It's too much RNG for you to get one good piece. So, if you're not going to use on the strongest damage dealing pieces that you have, if you're not going to use on the useless sets that we have, and we have most of them as useless sets, where are we going to use our ORs? Where are the right sets, the right substats that we are going to use ORs? Speed. Speed is the answer to that. Sets that gives you speed, speed set. Divine speed set. Perception set. Protection set. Impulse set. Righteous set. Supersonic set. Feral set. Pinpoint set. And rebirth. That's where you're going to use your ORs, or the most powerful ORs that you got on your account. Why? Because the most relevant stats that we can get from a piece from these sets, it is speed. The most relevant ones. So out of all these sets that we can get speed, if we get speed on a piece, we got the stats that we are looking for on these kind of pieces. From all this set, speed on a piece is better than anything else. Anything else. So that's the right way to use your ORs. You're going to have high rolls on a piece on one of these sets. And when you get a piece of one of these sets with high rolls, you're going to try to use an OR on it to try to get a multiple roll on speed. It doesn't matter. If we only care about speed, it doesn't matter if it is a weapon, if it is a helmet, if it is a shield, if it is a glove, if it is a chest. It doesn't matter. We just care about speed. If we don't care about the main stats, it's way easier to achieve a good piece because we only care about one stat out of all the stats that we have. We don't need to have speed, critical damage, critical hate, and attack percentage to make this piece relevant. We just need speed. We just need to have one right substats to make a speed piece relevant. So speed gears, the gears that give speed, not only the main speed one, all the sets that give speed is where you're going to use your ORs. That's the sets that you're going to use your ORs. You're going to spend them trying to transform bad rolls that you had on a piece on a multiple row of speed. That's where you're going to try to use it. So how and in which pieces you should use your ORES? Let's talk about it. The 5-star epics you're not going to use because most of the time this is not so relevant, the amount of speed that you get from 5-star ORES. From the 5-star legendary and from the 5-star mythical, you're going to start to take value of it. On the sets that give you speed, if you select the pieces that you have 5-star, and if you're able to have a quad row or a penta row in one of these pieces, it is where you're going to use your 5-star ORES here. So for example, you can have pieces that are 5-star that you're able to transform into good speed pieces because you got a quad row or a penta row on them and you used ORES. You can try to get these kind of rows on them through using ORES. Is going to work all the time? No, not all the pieces you're going to need to use ORES, but if you're trying to get good pieces all the time, you're farming and you're trying to get multiple speed rows, the 5-star legendary you can use on 5-star speed pieces. The 5-star mythical you can use on quad rows or penta rows on speed pieces, okay? Not use on triple rows or lower for 5-star. 5-star equipments, you only want quad row or higher to use a OR, 5-star OR, okay? That's how you're going to use it. How are you going to use the other ones? How are you going to use the 6-star ones? Let's go to it. On triple rows or higher pieces of speed, epic pieces, you're going to use 6-star epic ORES. If you got a triple hole on epic piece, you can use a OR on it. On legendary 6-star pieces, if it is a triple or a quad row, you can use a OR on it, okay? If it is a triple or a quad row, you can use a OR on this kind of piece. 6-star epics, you use 6-star ORs for triple holes on speed pieces. It not necessarily needs to be speed set. It can be any set that gives the speed. Speed, divine speed, perception, protection, impulse, Righteous, supersonic. So if you use OR in the right way, you can try to roll these pieces. If you get a random quad roll, to try to roll it into a good speed piece. That's how you're going to use it. You're going to seek for quad rolls or triple rolls, and if it is a legendary, triple or quad rolls, you will use a 6-star legendary OR. If it is a mythical piece, it's a little bit different. You're only going to use mythical ORs if the pieces that you're going to use it is a quad or a penta row. Never use a 6-star mythical OR in a triple row, okay? That's not the goal, because 6-star mythical ORs are very rare. Multiple rows on mythical pieces are very rare. So you're only going to use 6-star ORs on quad rows or penta rows. Let me tell you on the Blackboard very quickly the rules. We are here on my Blackboard. Let's quick go through the rules that I just mentioned during this video. Not going to use ORs on damage dealing pieces because Damage dealing pieces, you need the main stats to be correlative to the substats. So you need matching main stats and matching substats to be relevant. So to use an OR in a damage dealing piece or in a damage dealing set, you're going to gamble a lot because you need the main stats and the substats to be important, and you need multiple substats to be relevant. You need speed, critical damage, critical rate, and a amplifier multiplication stats like attack percentage, HP percentage, or defense percentage. All of them are important for you to have a relevant damage dealing piece. So you're not going to use OR on damage dealing pieces. You're going to use ORs either on speed sets, not speed set, on sets that give you speed. All of them are important. Perception, speed, divine speed, rebirth, protection, all of them. All of them are important. So that's what you seek when you're using ORs. You're gonna use 5-star legendary on 5-star pieces, legendary pieces that has a quad roll. You're going to use 5-star mythical on 5-star pieces that has quad roll or penta roll. You're going to use 6-star epics on 6-star epic pieces that has triple rolls. You're going to use 6-star legendary on legendary pieces that has triple rolls or quad rolls, and you're going to use 6-star mythical ORs on 6-star mythical pieces that has quad rolls or penta rolls. Never use them on triple rolls, okay? These are the rules. And on the accessories, you're going to use the ORs, mainly the 5 stars on Merciless and Stone Skin rings and amulets and banners sometimes. And you can use the 6-star ones mostly on banners to seek for speed, triple rolls, quad rolls, or penta rolls that you have on banners. You're going to try to use ORs to get speed. ORs are the best resources in the game to seek for better quality into speed substat items, and speed is really important on this game. So that's the way you're gonna use your ORs. There is exceptions, there is. What are the exceptions? Let's talk about deception. There's only one that I think is relevant. Right now, of all the sets, the only one that I think is relevant to use ORs, even not being a speed set, it is a Stone Skin. Because you also want speed rolls on the Stone Skin set. So the only exception to use high valuable ORs trying to get speed rolls is the Stone Skin set. The Stone Skin set is the only exception outside of the sets that give speed that you're going to try to use your ORs to get multiple rolls on pieces. You see, rework the piece that you are able to get high rolls on speed. This is the only set that you're going to use ORs to try to get high rolls on speed. Stone Skin is the only exception. You don't care about the main stats, you care about the substats. You're going to use your ORs on these kind of pieces to try to get triple rolls. It is going to work all the time? No, it is not going to work all the time. But it is a good gamble. It is a worth gamble. The ORs to use on Stone Skin gear to try to get multiple speed rolls is something achievable and something really important, because this set is as relevant as the speed sets. Okay, so this is the only set that I advise you outside of the sets that grant you speed to try to use a OR to try to get speed substats. I'm not talking about damage dealing pieces. You're not going to seek for damage dealing pieces using OR. They can show up. Yes, they can show up, but they are going to be a consequence of a failed OR that you use it trying to get speed. There is one more thing that I can show you. How to search for which pieces are you going to use. You go into your inventory, you're going to click on filter. You're going to click on equipad. Then you have all your sets here. So you have the sets that I already told you that are important. So you're going to see which kind of ore you want to use. I want to use a 6-star epic ore. So I'm going to select 6-star epic piece. I'm going to put hide fully worked pieces to not show the pieces that I already used ores. And I'm going to select here on substats multiple rows. So you can try triple HP percentage, for example. You can try triple HP percentage. It will show the triple HP percentage pieces. You can try triple attack. It will show pieces with triple attack. You can try triple HP percentage. It will show pieces with triple HP percentage. You can try any amount of triple rows that you want on the 6-star here. I know for sure that with the triple HP percentage, I have a piece that I want to use an ore. So I'm going to here, going to click to use an ore. I'm going to try to get speed here. I got resistance. On my account, it's not worth. Maybe in your account it is. So if you want to keep it, you can keep it. I am not going to keep on my account. On my account, I only care about speed rows. So I saw there is another one here. Let me ore it. Resistance again. Okay. The goal is to get speed on my account at least. So I'm going to sell it. Let's say I want to use a 6-star legendary or a 6-star mythical. So let me try to find quad rows. There is none on relevant sets here. Okay. None on relevant sets here. Here, none on relevant sets. Here. There's a stone skin one, but on the boots, not that I want. Here, none. Here. There is on muscles, but I don't want to use that on muscle sets. I want speed sets. Not going to use speed because speed's the goal. Okay, here. We have on protection. I could use on this piece, but this is a perfect piece. So I'm not going to use on it. Okay, there's a stone skin here. Another piece that I could gamble, but I also want this damage dealing piece. So we're going to keep it. Let me try another one here. Okay. Another very strong piece. Not going to use it. Another almost perfect piece. Not going to use it. On these sets, not the relevant ones. Here, Righteous. This one is a red high-glyphed. Not going to use it. And finally, here. Okay. I have perception. On the boots, I don't want. I can use it here to try to get a quad row. Maybe I will keep this piece because I read max glyphed. But that's how you search for the pieces to use your ores. You're gonna use the filter to quickly find what pieces you are able to use the kind of ores that you want to use. Okay, this is the final tip that I give you. This is what I want you to know. This is how I want to show you is the best way to use one of the most important resources we have access to, the ORES. So if you're stockpiling these resources here, use it. Bring your triple rows, your quad rows, your penta rows out of your bag and try to get speed rows with them. This is probably the way the most amount of players are able to reach high rolls on speed right now, through using ORES. So do not hold them too much, because you're losing the opportunity of getting a good piece that you should be using all the time, because you could have rolled it to use an OR on it. Okay? Take your time, look through your gear, find some multiple rolls on pieces that are not being used, and if it is a speed piece or a stone skin piece, a piece of a set that gives you speed, if it is triple, quad, or penta roll, try to transform it on speed. It is worth it. Okay? This is the tips that I give to you about ORES. This is one of the most important resources in the game, and I wish you to use it in the right way. This is the video of today. If you like it, if you think this is interesting content, do not forget to hit the like button. It helps us a lot. And as always, remember,
It's all about arena.